There was this huge rollover of 333,000 priced at 2,600. And once you factored that into the weighted average, it brought the declared FOB down. And that is how come, although the prices were that high, Cocoa Board could only declare an FOB of 4.8 and give the farmer 63.9%, which represented 3,100 US dollars a ton. So this was the story. But I got to know these details when I got in here and got all the facts. Because outside, we're all saying that, but if the prices are this high, why will you give the farmer 3.1? Because even if it were 8,000 and you're giving the farmer 60%, it cannot be $3,100. But apparently there was this animal called rollover, which was at 2,600, and that had this impact on the FOB that was to be declared. So when we came in, this was what we inherited. So these were the issues that occurred in 23-24. So for 24-25, then had to go with the buyers to say that, please, fund the crop. So now we had moved from syndication, which had gone on for 32 years, to now a buyer-funded model. So I inherited a debt of 32.91 billion for cocoa roads alone. There were contracts of 26.5 billion were signed. 21.5 billion of these 26.5 billion were signed in just 3 years. 19, 20, 21. Just 3 years. 21.5 billion.
So the actions
does it make sense? No. The people who go out there and put people who are supposed to be farmers on the camera, and the farmers are saying that we have sold cocoa. The cocoa has not been bought. We have not been paid. Come and look at our banks. We even have more. We are even putting the cocoa in fertilizer sacks. Those ones didn't push the price down. But a question to me about what the status is and my explanation on it is what pushed the price down by $300. That is why I asked. So what pushed the price down from 7.2 to 4,200? Do you appreciate what I've just said? Yes. So how can the person who says that he's doing a fact finding, he's going there to confirm what you are sitting in Accra and hearing, he's going to confirm it and make sure that the whole world sees that. That doesn't push the price down. It is the interview I went to do at Tesano. Now, in any case, let me tell you something. You see, we are making it sound as if there is a specific price for Ghana. When you look at the world market prices, is there a price which is called Ghana price? So how can a statement I make determine price for Colombia and determine price for Indonesia and determine price for Malaysia? How would that be? No, how would that be? Yes, you can answer.
Because we are number 2 on the world
Operations. I mean, the funding of the crop or Cocoa Board's activities were largely funded by central government until somewhere in 1991 where it became unsustainable, and so a new funding model was developed, which was the popular cocoa syndicated loan. Now, this is how the syndicated loan operated. And mind you, this was some 34 years ago, 1991, 92. So Cocoa Board makes a forecast of the crop. So you have the research department and a cocoa marketing company. So they will make a forecast for the crop for the ensuing season. And so, for example, if they say that we expect 600,000 and our crops come in two, the main crop and the light crop. And so they say that the main crop out of 600,000, main crop will be 500,000, light crop 100,000. Then there's also a forecast of the average price across the season. So once this average price is also established, then, so let's say $5,000. Then Cocoa Board determines how much it requires to buy the beans, purchase the beans. And this purchase of the beans is done by licensed buying companies. So companies that Cocoa Board has licensed to buy the beans from the farmers on behalf of Cocoa Board. So Cocoa Board will then make this determination. So let's say Cocoa Board requires $2 billion to purchase the crop. And then there's always a financing cost. So maybe it will cost $120 million. So Cocoa Board will then say it is pledging 500,000. It's giving CMC the mandate to go and sell 500,000 tons of the crop, which will then come to, let's say, 2.5 billion. So you have a consortium of banks. So the syndication is just a group of banks or financial institutions, foreign financial institutions. And so Cocoa Board will then present this contract that CMC has signed with international buyers of the raw bean. International buyers of the raw bean. So this contract, so let's say 500,000, so by $5,000, $2.5 billion. So Cocoa Board then takes these contracts to these banks, the syndicated banks, and these contracts act as the collateral for the loan. So the banks then look at the fact that Cocoa Board has contracts to supply 500,000 tons of beans valued at 2.5 billion. And Cocoa Board is asking for 2 billion, and there's a financing cost of 120. So 2.12 billion, Cocoa Board will be able to pay. So on the basis of this, there is then an arrangement to send the money in tranches. So that is when you hear that press conference. Cocoa Board will hold a press conference and announce that they syndicated 1 billion, 1.2 billion, 1.8 billion. Then there's that big thing. Kobe, you've done that story many times on the front page of the Daily Graphic. And then my brother to Gabi will be on TV3 and announce it. The news or the morning show that Cocoa Board has secured syndication of 1.2 billion, 1.8 billion, 1.5 billion. And then immediately this announcement is made, pressure eases on the currency and all that. So this money then goes to the central bank, the Bank of Ghana. The Bank of Ghana will then give Cocoa Board cedis per the Bank of Ghana rate. So Cocoa Board, although it sells the cocoa and the forex comes in, that forex does not come to Cocoa Board. It goes to the central bank. And the central bank will give Cocoa Board cedis per the Bank of Ghana rate. So it is a foreign exchange earner. So that is the vehicle that government has put in place to ensure that cocoa is grown. There's the research, extension, and everything. Then there is also the grading and sealing, that's the quality part. Then there is the warehousing, shipping, and marketing of the bean. And then this brings the forex. And that forex is what shores up the currency and the economy. But you know, we pay the cocoa farmers and everybody else in cedis, not in US dollars. So we'll bring in the US dollars. It goes to the central bank. The central bank will give Cocoa Board cedis according to the bank rate. Now, when Cocoa Board receives these cedis, the licensed buying companies, I've told you that they buy on behalf of Cocoa Board from the farmers. So when it comes to the purchasing of the crop, there is no direct interface between Cocoa Board and the farmer. You have the licensed buying companies.